Okay, Black Hawk Trail.
Okay, so we let the bid on the trail, and construction could have started any time. It's really on delay now because of rain again and wet work site conditions. And the first thing to occur out there is to do some tree removal. So that really needs to have better work site conditions to get in there and remove those trees. So everything's on hold as of last week, and if it rains a little bit more here, it'll be on hold through this week. But the question then deals with laying a subbase under that trail. You know, we let the bid, and the bid would just say lay a 5-inch thick, 10-foot wide concrete trail on top of the ground. So all they're doing is essentially stripping the sod, get down about 5 inches, form it up and pour it in. The question then became, as we're out there walking the route again, and the engineer and the contractor kind of squishing in the ground out there, and that in the wet site that is that dredge fill site, and you know they get to be more concerned about the quality of the site, and is there any benefit then to adding a rock subbase under the trail? And our engineer would pitch this as better subbase under it, and allowing the flow of water. This, I thought, was the two biggest points that he would suggest why we might want to entertain putting the subbase under. It's one of those things where it's not necessary in order to really have a successful project. It is more of a long-term benefit, adds structure to it, adds years to the life, and then also addresses these drainage issues. And with the drainage issues comes freeze and thaw issues. They had talked between the engineer and the contractor, getting some prices on doing 4 to 6 inches of subbase, and they did decide on 4 inches, that they thought 4 inches was enough. Basically, within the council memo, I gave you what the engineer's cost estimates were on this, and then as of late on Friday afternoon, I got the cost estimate from the contractor that was basically $40,000, a lot higher than what the engineer's estimate would be.
Do you need to do any compacting on that base at all?
It needs to meet a factory spec, but you know, basically there's not too much drip. Strip it, back a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like a highway or anything, but they'll have to roll some sort of equipment across it, get it packed in there. I don't know if limestone, when they bid the job, they had limestone on it. They didn't have, I don't know why, just a dirty, gravelly sand and rock, mixture like you put on a gravel road wouldn't work. For that patch, just as hard as anything.
Usually the base is half the project, isn't it?
Yeah. But even dirty sand and rock will pack harder than just limestone.
That's what I want.
Rock.
Yeah.
Can we get this under the DOT? Have they said anything?
Yeah, this is one big benefit out of doing this, is that it's an allowable expense under that grant. So it does, it fulfills all of the enhancement grant money, and we still have a lot of that refund that we go towards this too.
Why don't we do it right and put the 6 there?
Because there's, I guess it's certainly not unlimited as far as how much additional cost you'd like to have. Without doing any additional change order for this, the balance would be right around $30,000. We'd have $30,000 more in grant funds than what we would in expenses. So that, I think, would be the upper range of where you'd want to look as far as doing it. Yeah, the other side of this is we got our engineer saying this is probably a good thing. As we talk with city staff, they're not sold on the idea about having to do this. Eric and the DNR, I think, are open either way.
But the construction guy says $40,000, and we got $30,000 worth of money in the grant, so it cost us $10,000.
No, I guess I wouldn't do that. His price is out of line.
So what would we do if we decided we wanted to put the base on?
Yeah, there's the other couple options are first main option is to look at different materials. So this is all limestone material, where they figured,
They're trucking out 40,000,
Yeah.
so you're looking at 50 miles of trucking.
I think
That's
they,
as much as the ton.
Yeah, we figured it out rough today, and the mileage is just as much.
That's
It's about
fine.
$1 or $2 more a ton than the actual material. We figured out it was probably costing, just our rough estimate, probably
Don't we specify just use regular road gravel?
$1. That's the engineer, isn't it?
well, yeah, but I mean,
He called us, so I don't know.
How much is this gonna slow it down?
it does not extend that time period.
You still gotta get it done in the same amount of time.
Yeah, he's got 25 work days to do it.
Well, what do we do now if we tell him to use something else and he comes back and it's still 40,000? We're kinda stuck with this contractor, really.
Oh, yeah, that's our contract. You rely heavily on your engineering. An accepted price, an industry-wide price ought to be an acceptable price. Yeah, I guess my suggestion is if you want to proceed through this, I'd work with the engineer and we'd talk with them, but the other suggestion is to get some material other than limestone. And the two that Alex could do pretty easily were this road gravel, and then some
Just
crushed
clean
concrete
one,
stuff.
yeah, clean rock, wash one inch rock. That doesn't ever find the dirt in it, to tackle the road ground.
All that Howard guy, he seemed to be acceptable down the phone the other day on the
It's
Well,
only 600 tons, is what they're thinking.
600 tons. Upper range was 800. So.
But this engineer, he said he's done this before.
Yeah.
It doesn't look to me like he's really. I could have been confused there.
What are they doing on the South Trail Trail? Are they doing the same? That's already there, that place.
It's already there. Yeah, they're just overlaying on that existing, but it's a rock base. Yeah, I think there's a lot of merit to the idea. The soils out there are wet and spongy most of the time.
I go to our gravel expert here. You feel comfortable that rock place would be all right?
You cord it out, put, 4 to 6 inches of that stuff in there, pack it good, and then that's action. Yeah. But it's only a bike trail, and it's not like you're rolling semis down there.
Right.
And they're gonna pour, what, 5 inches?
5 inches. Anywhere where there's traffic, it does cross some of the streets, and then it's 7 inches. So.
Yeah. But, 5 inches of concrete without a sub base, I kind of talk about like a graham cracker on a bowl of jello. It's just sitting there and you put any weight on it, it's gonna crack.
I guess we just kind of move towards that, I guess, and see what's with the other.
Well, we'll negotiate and see where we get with the idea that we proceed with the change. Of course, it's still a formal change order, it has to come back to the city council in order to get approved. So we would negotiate towards that. But I'd also like to get to some different material, not just limestone.
Does limestone turns to what, dust after 20, 30 years?
Well, I mean, it'd be good, but I mean, you're trucking, you're
It's killing
50 miles of trucking, 4 years, 7 miles, you're probably.
Essentially, the comment.
Well, if that's all right with everybody, that's what we'll do.